Welcome back, folks. I'm Mike from the Nerdist Colony, and we have another retro gaming episode tonight. So, out of the 500 odd games that we have on our Steam list, which one did we pick out the bag? Well, we have our pole positions of the world. Okay, that's an old Spectrum joke there. Also in this stable we have Super Mario Kart, or if you go to the other end of the scale, you get your Forzas or your Gran Turismos. But what we're looking at today is the high-octane, brake-pumping, car-crunching, rad-drifting, marked man, death-defying Burnout Paradise. As a PC or console gamer, do you ever have a game that you just go back to every now and then, just for the sheer fun of it? Well, for me, that would be Burnout Paradise. When I was doing research on this game, I couldn't believe it was actually the 5th game in the series. I was pretty sure that I played them all beforehand. If you take into account the spin-offs as well, it was the second from last title in the series as well, which is a shame. I'm surprised there hasn't been another version since then. There is rumours that it's going to be released sometime in 2016, but you know, I guess it's just wait and see. But surely there has to be, especially considering that all critics scored it on an average of an 88%. The game is set in an open world and fictional city called Paradise City. Essentially an island with no way out. Kind of like Tesco's on Christmas Eve. Upon entering, you're surprised how big and glorious it looks. Both the scenery and the cars look absolutely amazing. There's no shortage of anything to look at. In fact, it's a visual feast that Criterion should be just proud of. Now, you're always going to get those that compare this game to a Forza or a Gran Turismo, but that's like comparing a cheerleader to your middle-aged wife. Sure, you love your wife and she's great, and she'll always ask you about your day and help you pay the bills, which is brilliant in its place. But then, with the cheerleader, you just want to have fun. And that's the secret of the Burnout series. You just can't take it too serious. It's about ridiculous speed and big crashes, silly jumps and chasing down cars. It's not all brilliant though. With other high-octane games, like say Grand Theft Auto, you could get out the car and have a look around. But this is just purely a race game. You sometimes feel like you're just falling at the same old gameplay. You get a newer license and you have to do 30 plus more races for the next level. But it's split up with choice. As you drive around, you pass through traffic lights and it'll give you a race choice. There are 3 different race modes. Race, which is at least one other car where you have to reach a location. And then there's Road Rage, which is my personal favourite. Basically, it's just smash off your opponent as many times as possible within the time limit, which is slightly extended with every takedown. And finally there's Stunt Run, which does exactly what it says on the tin. Points for big air, big smashes and boosts, and basically being ridiculous scores you points. That's not it all though. There's slight variation of the modes. Like Marked Man, where you race against heavy saloons which are trying to wreck your car and stop you from reaching your destination. And if you're lucky enough, like me, to have the Ultimate Edition, or even have the DLC, you can take out high-powered bikes and have a cruise around. I guess this would get really old really quickly, but Paradise City is just so vast, and with side objectives aplenty, so you can get all those sweet, sweet, sweet achievements. It'll certainly keep you busy for at least a short while. Another plus point about Burnout would be the complete lack of faff and on. It's nice to have a game with all slip differentials and octane and RPMs and big exhausts and, you know, wide tyres and racing slicks. But all I really want to do is just ride a car on a track and smash it into shit. For 20 years now I've been playing racing games of all shapes and sizes, from the Wipeouts to the aforementioned Gran Turismos. And the thing is, I just never really got away with just sliding around the track feeling like I'm in a high-powered electric wheelchair. And with its comic book physics, Burnout just kind of sort of like makes you think, if I crash into a barrier, I'm not just going to bounce off it, I'm going to actually die. Of course, you always get the respawn straight afterwards, but you know, the point still stands. There's nothing more glorious than seeing your bonnet fly off at high speeds, and then wonder if you actually killed somebody that was behind you. Sadistic you may say, no, I will argue video game violence, and it's lovely. So what does it have in terms of multiplayer? Well, it's a little bit more of a disappointment. I mean, you still can play multiplayer, and you can play online. However, the thing is, it only has a diluted version of it, where up to 8 players can play at once against each other. Maybe that's a lack of foresight from EA and Criterion, because obviously back in 2007, internet speeds weren't exactly great. But you can still have a lot of fun with it, I guess, if you've got 8 mates who have the game. Sadly though, this came out for all formats, PC, PlayStation 3, etc, 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 etc. So deciding a format could be the toughest choice. The price range on this game varies. For the PC, it's anything between £2.50 up to £9.99. And for the last gen versions, it seems to be averaging around about £14 a game, so it's still quite expensive for a game that's 8 years old. However, what might be an incentive for all you lucky Xbox owners out there is that I believe the game is going backward compatible sometime this year, if not already, which is a win-win. Anyway, thank you for spending time with me again, guys. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Peace out.